gonna figure it out.
Coming from, you said like being like coming from Marquette and being like, you know, underrated and, you know, did that help in making that sacrifice? You know what I'm saying?
My personality, first of all, how I am in life, it helps. You know what I mean? Like you got to know who you are. And so I knew that my personality, even though I have an alpha personality, I also understand how to, you know, look at perspective and look on the other side and move to the side. Like I got that ability to be able to sometimes take a break and look, you know what I'm saying, around and see. Some people who are so great, they just looking this way. And I got the ability to be able to stop, you know what I mean, and make a different decision. And so, yeah, was it tough as hell? Yeah, it was tough. But also, too, I think I was the perfect person to play that role. It ain't a lot of people that can play that role. Bron is an amazing player, but you got to learn, you got to work around him.
Right.
And to work with him. And so, as you've seen, the first years we were together, we did everything together.
Right.
We did every interview together, every press conference. Every time you seen him, you seen me. Because we had to be so lockstep because I knew everybody was going. Nobody wanted it. My team didn't want it. My family didn't want it. They were pissed. Bron team didn't want it. No one wanted that to happen. The game of basketball didn't want it to happen. So I made sure I linked myself with Bron even more because I knew we had to be so tight,
right,
or it was going to be a failure, and we didn't want to. And I didn't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And so there we go. We got it.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, shout out to the Melo's on podcast, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. You know, he's doing very well with his podcast, as his other, you know, NBA players that have their podcast. But yeah, that was a very interesting say for D-Wade. Mr. Wade counting himself. Love that. But go ahead, Ronnie, man. What's your take of what D-Wade said about, you know, back in the Big Three era of the Miami Heat?
Back in the Big Three era, it was very unique type of era because remember, people didn't see that for a very long time since the day of Michael Jordan. You know, and Michael Jordan, you already know Kobe and Shaq, all that. So when the Big Three era came around, you know, the time when I was in college, I was really surprised by that, and not only that because of the amount of pay cut Dwayne Wade took so he could get LeBron James and Bosh so we could win our first championship here in Miami, Florida. I think what he did was the total ultimate sacrifice. Because keep it in mind, a lot of people are stating LeBron James would be able to get his first ring unless he came into Miami. So he changed even LeBron James' legacy. D Wade. So and not only that, Chris Bosh as well, because you saw right after the last couple of years he was dealing with blood clots. He had to retire early. So it kind of showed you that okay, D Wade was like he wasn't about himself. He was about okay, what can I do for the betterment of the team? How can we be able to take this team into the next level? And by him doing that, he said, you know what, Pat Riley, I'll take a pay cut. Let's get him down here. Let's do it. Let's win. And that's exactly what happened. So I'll say kudos to him. He's the reason why we won 3 times straight.
Yep.
Go ahead, King.
So first off, I want to say this. For all my people who's from Miami and stuff like this, you know, Pat Riley don't like to pay anybody no top dollar. Let's first get that. He's one of the cheapest owners in history. He wants to get the most out for little. That's first. Wade is an exemplary example of what a city hero is. He was with Shaq. A lot of y'all forgot about that, right? Shaq was here before the Big Three came. They couldn't do nothing. And Wade was getting his ass hurt half the time, reaching. He was doing the same thing Derrick Rose was doing in Chicago, overperforming. He already had relationships with Bosh and LeBron. They met and stuff. And he's the reason why Miami is a superstar city. Don't get it twisted. Wade is. Now, we all know they had any problems internally. It was their crews. It was the people behind them who wanted things to be. Sometimes your friends might want you to be bigger than the next person you with, knowing that that next person here can help you. Nobody's bigger than the program. I'm going to end it with that. Ooh, Sherry Bryan.
Sherry Bryan's in the building. She's in the building. I can remember this like it was yesterday because I worked at that first year as a vendor there at the American Airlines Arena at the time, so I can remember a whole bunch of that. I remember when LeBron James first came out to say, "I'm taking my child to South Beach, Jordan Miami Heat." I was shocked, and to me, I was pissed off in a way. The reason I was kind of pissed off is because it was like to seeing these. It was not necessarily of D Wade, or Chris Bosh or the Miami Heat. It was just see a superstar caliber as LeBron James, as the first superstar to actually not being traded, but actually join a team of the big three, and easily seeing it's like, hey, they feel like they got it easy. And another thing that kind of pissed me off when they did that opening tradition. And LeBron said, "I'm gonna win." And when LeBron asked, when the interview asked him, like, "How many y'all think y'all could win?" He was like, "Not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven." When he said that, that was my expectation of LeBron James. Okay, since you gonna be in Miami, you can win seven. You got 7 championships because you said it, not your fans say, or no, your family member. You said that, and for that when he starts saying that kind of put him to the villain role and kind of made the Miami Heat in the villain role in the way for understanding all that type of thing. So, but the thing is, it's like that first year they lost, went to the NBA Finals and lost to the Dallas Mavericks, and that was LeBron James one of the most epic failures on the NBA Finals because he didn't show up in Game 4, Game 5, and Game 6 against the Dallas Mavericks, but next year they turned it around. They won a championship and they won back to back, but then lost again. So with that type of caliber of talent they had with Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh, and also they had Ray Allen a little bit. That type of team. It's very high expectations and everything. We were supposed to see a dynasty with that team. Usually, what a dynasty is, a lot of people will kind of agree. It's like if you win 3 championships in 4 years. You don't have to be a 3-peat, but if you win 3 championships in 4 years, people consider that a dynasty. With that caliber of talent, Miami Heat, some people think it's a disappointment. I think it's a disappointment as well because at LeBron James, you had LeBron James at his prime. You had Chris Bosh at his prime. You had D Wade, sort of in his prime in a way, but towards the end of his prime, and you guys didn't deliver 3 championships because you guys said you beat OKC for the championship, you beat San Antonio for the championship, but also lost to the San Antonio Spurs for the championship, and also lost to the Dallas Mavericks in the first beginning as well. So stuff like that, you see that it's a whole bunch of pressure. The thing was with Kevin Durant, once he joined the Golden State Warriors, it was a extreme amount of pressure. He had to win. Was he delivered? He won back to back. So yeah, back to that time, when LeBron James kind of changed the direction of the NBA of him joining Miami Heat, it was just like it changed. It definitely changed the NBA at the time. Definitely changed the NBA. Now we don't see that no more. It's really the big twos. We see with each other teams like that. But going back to that, D Wade was right. It was something that was never seen before. They did deliver, but for some people, see them as a dynasty. To me, they're not a dynasty because if they won their third championship, I think that would have raised LeBron James his legacy a little bit more because he would have been in the dynasty, and you probably would see him here more in the GOAT stats because as a Michael Jordan, he had 2 3 peats of winning the dynasty and of being in a dynasty. Of course, LeBron James, people could say, he has 4 rings. He's in the GOAT conversation, but he doesn't have a dynasty, which he could potentially have with the Miami Heat. But anyways, what D Wade was saying was correct. Wherever he was saying, he was right because it was a whole lot of pressure on that Miami Heat team back in 2010 to 2014. 2014